because a lot of people want to chill tonight and stuff like that. If you're here tonight, that means that you want to be making a lot of money. How many of us here want to make a lot of money? Raise your right, say aye. Aye. How many of you here really want to make a lot of money? Raise your right, say aye. Aye. Very good. If you didn't raise your hand, please leave right now. Okay? Because if you're not interested in making money, this is not the place that you want to be at. Okay? I am not a property expert. I'm a property investor who have made a lot of money over the years. And I'll tell you exactly why. So over the years, many people have asked me, how come I can make a lot of money? Okay? There are two reasons why I make a lot of money. First, it's called businesses. Second, it's called property investment. So because I'm not the expert, but I'm a property investor who made a lot of money, I brought a friend along who is the property expert, and I will share a lot more about who he is later on when I hand over to him. Usually before the expert come up, the person who is not so expert come and talk first. So then after that, I set the bar so high, he has to give you a lot of value. He has to teach you a lot of things. His name is Adrian. I will share more about him before I transition to him. So until then, you just focus on me, the handsome guy here first. Okay? I am the president of PORTMAN College. I own a lot of businesses. I currently sit on 20 different business boards. And in addition to the students over here, we also have external people, which is great. It means to say you are really wanting to learn how to make money, which is good. And what I want to do is this. Okay, I receive two things I make a lot of money from. There's one person I learned long time ago when I bought his book called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And a lot of people will understand these fundamentals. If you understand these fundamentals, you will know why. By understanding these fundamentals, you need to be in these two areas. Okay? I do not know Robert Kiyosaki. He also don't know who I am. But that concept, fundamental, will allow you to understand a lot of reasons how to get rich. So what I like to always do is this. Before we go into the topic, very fast, if you don't know enough detail about this, don't worry. You sign up for PORTMAN programs, you will be taught free of charge. Okay? So, this is called the Cash Flow Quadrant, CQ. Okay, very quickly. E stands for? S stands for? B stands for? Business. I stands for? Business. So clever, must be PORTMAN students. If you are over here, you will always be poor. If you are over here, you will always be rich. Alright? So, if you want to be rich, you need to be in business and investment. Very simply, if you want to study business, it takes some time to learn how to do business. Alright? If you want to learn how to do investment, a lot faster. Here, deal with a lot of nonsense and human beings. Sometimes better to deal with dogs than to deal with human beings. Huh? A lot of headache want to give you. Dogs just smile, come and hug you and everything. Right? Investment. There are 4 classes of assets according to Kiyosaki. Alright? The 4 classes of assets that you can invest into are other businesses. 1, 2, what? Real estate. There is 2 things. Real estate, 2 things. First is called properties. Second is called land. Alright, 2 things. Number 3, you can invest into paper assets. What are paper assets? Stock market, anything that's a piece of paper. You pay money, you get a piece of paper, that's paper asset. Alright? Insurance, bonds, mutual funds, anything that's a piece of paper, that is paper assets. And number 4, what is that? Commodities. Commodities. What kind of commodities are we talking about? Gold, silver, those are traditional. Nowadays, they have what we call alternative investment. So they have things like antiques, cars, they have wine. They have wine, they have a lot of very interesting things, and even land outside the country. Those are called alternative investment. My advice is, if you have not even done local investment, don't dream about alternative investment. If you have not done fundamental investment, alternative investment, put aside first. Alright? So why I like Adrian's and his team from Skybridge is because they will teach you, first thing, keep your day job, which is make sure you still have money coming in. Some people, they think, I'm going to be over here as investor. I quit my job, I go full time. Very quickly, after 31 days, how come no salary coming? No income coming, you are day out of the game very quickly. Alright? So it's very important to always ensure you still have income coming in. And that's why I am in two things. One is called business, the other is called investment. But I only focus in investment in one very specific area. Real estate. Very simple answer to that. Today, when I speak for the next 30 minutes, I'm not here to argue and fight with anyone. Some of us here, you think you are an expert. Good for you. Some of you would think that, why this person tell me all these things don't make sense, right? It don't make sense to you, never mind. I make a lot of money from it. Enough, good enough for me. It makes sense for me, enough. What I'm doing is, I'm sharing you today, for the next half an hour, how I make money from the properties I invested in. So it may be right, it may be wrong, but is it right to me? You better believe it's right now. Okay, make $500,000 for one property is a good decision. Alright, within a very short period of time. So I will tell you how I did that. Want to know? Want to know? Sure. If yes, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Okay, those who didn't raise, say I can leave now. Just kidding. Okay, so I will tell you exactly what I did, what I learned myself, and I put that into practice, and it was very beneficial to me. Very, very beneficial. Okay? You see, when I first started doing business, the first thing when I start doing business, what's the first thing you need to have? Capital. Nonsense. Throw that out the door. You see, people who think you need money, capital to do business, my question to you is, what makes you think that with money, you will know how to do business? If you don't know how to do business without money, what makes you think you know how to do business with money? Make sense? Okay? If you can do business without money, oh, I'll tell you something. See, businesses are very simple. All you need to do is go and register a business. Business? The next question you need to ask is, where is the money coming from? And that's why it's very important. If you maintain as an employee, you still can be rich, but make sure you cross over and do what? Investment. Because not everybody can do businesses. But if you do investment, my strong advice to you is this. Stay at real estate. It is the best return at the safest area to invest. And when you do business like me, you need to use offices, correct? So what do I buy? Office. When you buy office, people will tell you, hey boy, offices now not a good time. It all depends what you want to do with your office. If you're going to buy the office and you plan to do your business, you plan to be there for 10 years, buy lah. Sure go up one. If you study the market for properties in the last 60 years, I don't care where it is lah. Selangor, Kelantan, Terengganu, Rawang, people say Rawang 10 years ago buy or die. Yeah, 10 years ago die, but now not dying, now went back up. So if you didn't sell, you're still holding, guess what happened? You make money lah. So, if you look at properties in the last 60 years, the chart looks like this. Correct? If you look at stock market, it looks like this. Heart attack, die faster. Properties, okay it doesn't really, shake that much. So as a new investor, I always advise people, be safe, do things properly, and what they teach is how to leverage on property responsibility, which means to say, make sure you take care of yourself. Don't simply listen to people, baca buku, invest, and you die faster. Okay? So be very careful. Understand this? If you understand this, I'm going to show you how I did what I did and how I went about doing it. Thank you. So, first thing first, I'm supposed to share you 3 strategies on how to locate, how to find. Later I'm going to show you a video, your eyes will pop up. You'll be like, wow! I'm going to show you exactly where you should be investing into. Want to know or not? Yes. Okay, pay me money. Why I don't want to argue with you here. When it's free of charge, I don't want to waste time arguing. If you pay me money, again we can argue. So whatever I tell you, you don't, don't butt me here. I got half an hour because I will share the stage with the expert to share with you. Okay? If you want to talk to me later, you can talk to me after my talk. So during a free session, you don't butt so many times. Okay? You just listen. You accept and accept, up to you. You get it? So you just accept and listen first. Okay? Then we can argue later when you pay me fees. But you don't pay me, it's okay, we don't argue, don't waste my time. So what's important? I'm going to share you 3 strategies. Now what I did was this. how to look for properties. First, buy a star like this one. Look. This is how you look for property. How many of you here, I want to know for real, how many of you have ever looked at this? Raise your right hand and say I. Look at the room. Take a look at the room. How many people? Sad or not? How are you going to become a millionaire if you, Sophie, only look at this? Star paper now, highest English circulation. Make sense? So how to make? Cannot be one. First thing first, get used to looking at this in the star, or go on property, iProperty lah, this lah, that, a lot online now. First thing first, before I started learning how to locate for properties, you need to do your homework. You need to be reading a lot of this, checking out roughly, knowing what territory, what area, how much money you want. You need to do your homework. I have done a lot of homework over the years. Every weekend, you know where I go with my wife? We go Pakto, of course. Alright? And then we go Pakto where? We go Pakto look at new developments, new properties. And you know the funniest thing? The Rickfield, heard of Rickfield or not? The Rickfield CEO, I'm not going to tell you his name because I don't want to badmouth people. He was at a property investment seminar. I was at the seminar because I go to all property investment seminars. I learn from a lot of people. And he said, there is nothing to buy. He said in Montclair, there is nothing to buy. And he said that there is nothing to buy. Of course, my CEO Rickfield, he want to sell now. So he keep telling people to buy so that his agents can sell. I went to the ground on Montclair, I jalan-jalan, tengok building. How much occupancy rate? 60%. How much occupancy rate? 40%. Nothing to buy. Occupancy rate means to say nobody staying. So the best way and number one to locate strategy to locate for property, no shortcut. You must do hard work. Go to the ground. Wherever you want to buy, you must go to the ground, walk, jalan, don't drive. Oh, done, don't care. You must go to the ground, walk the property. And how do you do this? First strategy, what do? Read the newspaper, read the online properties, know territories and how much they cost roughly. Call the agents. Yo, bro, how much is that? How much is that? They will give you an idea. How much is per square feet, where location. That's the most fundamental. If you don't even do this, don't think about buying properties. I've been doing this for the past 10 years. Every day without fail, I should check one. That's why I brought it up to show you. You get it? The first thing I do every morning, I check this. Okay? You want to know the second thing? You want to know? Good. You do the first thing? Okay. The second thing I did was this. Because you need to do a lot of homework. I'm not marketing this guy or endorsing him, he's a friend. And what I did was, you see, I read a lot of property investment books over the years. Except Adrian because he has not given me a free copy yet. So now he has to give me a I read a lot of books. Donald Trump, properties. Everything I read, international one. Very tak faham. The rules, regulation, very Americano, you know. So I was looking for, because Adrian, I haven't written his book yet. So I was looking for something that's more localized. And I went and looked around. So I have the Queen of Properties, I've got the King of Properties. So I started looking for localized, very important. 5 individuals will be receiving my first ever localized Malaysian property book tonight, before you leave. Okay? The 5 person who receive this will be the 5 person who attend Adrian's preview. So you get, this is a localized, very, very good fundamental first learning lesson. If you have no knowledge about property, this is a very good Malaysian-based property book. Okay? Peter Yee, he is very rich. Very Peter Yee. Dr. B is very rich already, a lot of properties because older generation buy a lot of properties and collect rental chuk already. Yeah? Usually the real deals, they don't shock to the world so much one. They keep very quiet, you know, you can learn a lot. So this one will be a fantastic book to have. And I'll be giving 5 out, yeah? So the second thing that I did, that's not the second thing, that's just the book. The second thing I did was this, is to call, I set up my own Mastermind group. What is it called?
Mastermind group.
What is it called?
Mastermind group.
What do you mean by a mastermind group? Sound big or name? Mastermind, right? If it's a mastermind group, means to say it's using your brains one. It needs people to use brains, and some people don't use brains, never mind, I just pay them. So mastermind group means to say you need some key people in this group. Okay? And I'll show you 4 very important people to be in this group. Okay? 4 very important people. This is what I did after searching and studying myself. The first person in the mastermind group that you must have is called real estate agents. Today, in this phone right now, I've got 35 real estate agents that specializes in 35 different locations. I repeat, I've got 35 agents who specializes in 35 different locations all over the region. Okay? Because all agents specializes in areas. How do you think I got 35 agents? Any guesses? Aiyo, dear, that's smart. Yeah. So over the last 10 years, I've been calling a lot now. Yo bro, yo bro, yo bro. All kinds of names, like got girl name, got guy's name, sometimes you got dating with them. They give you all kinds of information. So I accumulate 35 of them, specialized in different locations. Then I decide what are the locations I really want to buy in. Real estate agents, they can do 2 things for you. First, because they see properties so much. You know why they see? Because their job is to show properties, right? So by showing properties all the time, they get to see where are the good deals, where are the undervalued properties. That's the first thing. Okay? The second thing they can do for you is this. Nowadays, there's a lot of property developers. Some good name, some bad name. Alright? You want to know who are the good bad? You talk to Adrian. He will tell you afterward. Most important is this. Property developers will approach some of the agents, right? And tell the agents to market the properties for them before they even advertise and go to market. Have you ever experienced going to a property showcase? You are the first person. You thought you saw the land you. You stand there first one, lining up one to buy. I want that one. Have you experienced that? You thought your cousin, brother, sister inside there working told you, wow, this one must buy. Next thing you know, open. Tuk, 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 tuk. All taken up already. So nowadays there's something called pre-launch. And even before that they call pre-launch. And before pre-launch, there are people like this, already sapu already a lot. Okay? He will tell you why they can sapu a lot lah, later on. So nowadays, if anyone advertises on property, buy or don't buy? Buy or don't buy? Don't buy. If the property is so good, need to sell or not? No need, people will come one. Already the agents will shut up everything sold out already. I take 5, you take 4, you take 6, done. Do you understand? So if anyone need to advertise, and many times, should you be concerned? Very concerned. If you go to a property fair, a lot of booth one, they'll come out, wow, design super nice, you emotion, wow, I like dream house, you buy, you die. If a property is so hot, alright, they don't need to sell one. You know how their property agents, they sit down there, you bro, then you want to be interested. If the property agent, hi my friend, how are you? You know what this one, I tell you, fantastic, you know why or not? If it's like that one, then you better be concerned. Property developers who are strong, solid, and really good landed area for you to really buy, they don't need to worry about you one. They talk to a few real estate agents, all the people who got money, they just call. This fellas call me, hey, got this one, very good, right next to LRT stop. You want or not? How many left? How much? Because they only want to talk to people who got money to buy immediately. Understand? So the property mastermind group is the second thing you need to do, and the first person you need to have is the real estate agent. And you know what's the best part? I got 35 of them working for me, FOC. What is FOC? Free of charge. How do they make money? Commission from who? No lah! Commission from, you think I'm so stupid on the pay. From who? Whoever is selling, whoever is selling, the seller, whether it's the developer, whether it's a sub-sale, whether it's a many-year sale, the developer, the seller pays for the commission. Do I pay a single cent? Do I have people working for me? What a deal, man. Isn't that a smart thing to do? Hey, you better be doing what I tell you to do. No, 10 years from now, you will own the kind of properties I have and make the kind of money. You understand? Because you get property, real estate agent, they will hunt. Everywhere they call you. But you don't go and mind them, you know. You better be serious when you talk to them. Tell them exactly what you want. Tell them exactly where. You get the information, you go and buy. You buy the first one from the real estate agent, they will love you to death. Every time you tell them, hey, got Sun Liu, they will call you one. Do you understand? So be very good friend with real estate agent. Don't look at this, call them, like that, I don't want, and then tell people go and show you units and then you don't show up, you know. Don't die slap, I tell you. Because they are human beings also. Respect them and then they will respect you, they will help you make a lot of money. First mastermind, good people. Get a real estate agent. How many do you need to have? Only so many lah. 10 years only collect for so long, and some haven't died yet, some probably died already. But I have active probably about 5 only that I really work very closely with. Okay? Damansara Perdana, where majority of my properties are. 1, 2 agents there, they know exactly what I buy. Anything come up open, they know where open because that's the first people they talk to. Make sense? So they have the real estate agent, they call them. So make friends with them. The second type of people that you need to be being good friends with, mastermind group. This is number 1. They are the hunters. They are the what? They hunt for you. The second type of people that you need to have are called your mortgage bankers or brokers. They are called your bankers or brokers. Okay? What are mortgage bankers or brokers? Adrian used to be a mortgage banker. Now he's a mortgage broker. What's the difference? Let him explain. After I explain wrongly. Okay? Bottom line is this. Salespeople are in the bank who sell you a loan. They sell you a loan. They look at your income statement. They look at your what? Where does your income come from? They look at your income statement. Your income statement, if you are an employee just now, your income statement says what? Salary. Okay? The income statement say what else? Sometimes maybe you inherited a lot of money from a girlfriend that died after sleeping with you. Already innocent. So, sometimes you have income from leftover heritage properties. Sometimes someone to lease you a wasiat, your whatever left over to you, you got a lot of money, you didn't know. Maybe you got business, got income. So can be salary, self-employed could be your direct income a lot higher. Business owner could be your revenue from your businesses. If you're an entrepreneur, nowadays they look at your total full income, which is fantastic. Okay? And that's what the mortgage banker does, the sales guy, if he works for the bank. I'm going to explain briefly so he will, Adrian will explain to you thoroughly. Roughly what he does, he looks at all your documents and then he will ask you, this bank, or this package better for you, you make money like that. So the broker, he break the deals. Okay, he make the deals for you. He make it come true for you. Because a lot of us here, I'm going to ask you this question, you raise your hand if it's true to you. How many of us right now in this room, raise your hand if you do not think you can afford to buy a property right now. Raise your hand and say aye. Do not think you can afford. Say aye. Aye. Very good. Now you say you cannot, right? I'm going to talk to him. By the end of the day, potentially, he can make sure you buy a property. Because sometimes you don't know what else can show. You could be a son to the putri of somewhere within. You don't know. or you are the doctor to someone who become your guarantor who put a letter in, you don't know what is needed by the bank. He knows, because every day all he does is that. He knows what the packages of the banks. Mortgage means loan packages. You understand? All you need is called leveraging on other people's money to get rich. Very important. Alright? In business, you leverage on 3 things in business. Leverage on other people's money to get rich. Leverage on other people's time to get rich. Leverage on other skills and knowledge to get rich. You understand? So it's important. To do this, you now will probably think, how much percentage you need to get from the bank to get a loan? How much percentage? How much can you get? Now only 90 lah. Very good. Alright, what if I tell you, you can get 100%? Believe or not? Believe. What if I tell you you can get 120%? Believe or not? What if I tell you, you buy property, the developer pay you back money? Believe or not? You don't put a single cent down payment, and then the developer pay you back money. Believe or not? I just bought a property like that. I also didn't believe myself because I also didn't know. Until I transacted, I did that deal. Got such thing. I don't put money down, and then they give me money back some more. You want to know how, right? Very simple one actually. I didn't do anything. The bank did everything with the developer. I just need to just sign. But before you sign, make sure you know what the hell you're doing. Okay? So there are a lot of things that we don't know. Doesn't mean you cannot. The more you know, the better it is. So sometimes it's good to pay mortgage brokers a fee so they counting for you. And do you pay them? The bank pays them. Commission, same thing. Make sense? So why not talk to them? Talk to them lah. It can help you free of charge. Someone else pay for it. It's like real estate agent. The seller pays for it one. So good to use them or not? Good or not? Good. My bankers, I tell you, call me non-stop. Hey, buy lah. They also have friends who are real estate agents. Tell them, tell the firm buy lah. Because if they know you're a good paymaster, every month you pay your loan, you refinance, you pay. That's it. They say, okay, we calculate your total income. Okay, you can take this much more. Make sense? So these are the 2 types of people you want to be in your what? Mastermind group. Be very close and good friends with them. Very, very important. Don't keep on changing, You keep on changing, they also don't trust you, you also don't trust them. You need to build a trust relationship between your mastermind group. Make sense? The 3rd kind of people, very important, as the people that will be here to support you in this property purchase, property investment environment. Okay? The 3rd type of people that you want to make sure that you are also taking care of them. Very, very important. Okay? Are the, what do you think? Who are they? You get correct, I give you one more. Who do you think is important? All except Adrian cannot talk. Guess lah, don't guess 0. Why you want to put me in there? I'm property investor, not expert. Huh? Sorry? What for you want tenant to be in there for what? Mastermind group. Who is important to be in this group? Your real estate, he does what? Hunting. Mortgage broker do what? Package the deal to get you the deal from the bank to you buy, they find you money lah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, well done. Good job. Lawyer. You need to have a damn good lawyer. Very important. Lawyers are very, very important. Okay? Why are lawyers important? I hate lawyers, by the way. My brother, who I don't talk to for 17 years, is a lawyer. Okay? And when I was growing up, all his freaking friends, bloody lawyers all in my house. Because you know why? You know, like exam, final exam, you know what happened? They go and bloody study. And all lawyers, all the books say, oh, it made me angry. So I hate lawyers. But they are very useful people. So use them, don't love them. Okay? Remember, use them, don't love them. Lawyers, very important because they are the idiots who have nothing else better to do than to read the contracts from the bank. They are the ones who, okay, half the time you don't know what the hell they're talking about. Agree, disagree? Hey, come on, your father, mother go and buy, I didn't say organization. Your father, mother go and buy properties. You know what they do? The banker will say, sign here, initial, sign, initial. Correct or not? It's like that one, That's the lawyer's job. But if you don't have a lawyer, you're going to sit down there, you think you're going to read, First, even if you read, you don't know what the hell you're talking about lah. It's like chicken and duck talk. Okay? So that's the job of who? The lawyer. Important or not? Because the flirt advised you wrongly, kena sue himself. So let them kena sue by the bank. Let them deal with them. Because the bank got the bank lawyers. You got your own lawyer. Make sense? Should you have a lawyer for every single transaction? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Make sure. Some people are damn siap one. They do a sub-sale transaction, then they say, the seller, lawyer, right? The seller, let's say, come. This is the seller. Who is he?
Seller.
I am the? No. I'm the lawyer. I'm your lawyer. Hi. Very good. Come, JL. JL is the buyer. Okay? Jackie, go over there. Jackie is the lawyer for potentially him to use. You want to get a lawyer, correct? You talk to Jackie, say I want to use you.
I want to use you.
Then you say $20,000 for you to use me.
$50,000.
Then you say because he says so much, you want to use him or not? Sit down. You don't want, right? Then you ask him, you got your lawyer or not?
You got your lawyer or not?
How do you do? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm his lawyer. Would you like me to represent you as well? It'll be 50% less since I'm the only lawyer within here, right? Okay, very good. Turn around. Be very careful to be kiamsiap in saving that 50% of the lawyer fees because it's shared between both persons. I am first, whose lawyer?
Bank.
Seller's lawyer. Who do you think I'm going to screw? I'm going to screw you. You get it? As much as possible, I strongly advise you, okay, use your own lawyers, your own mastermind group lawyer that you have built a relationship for a very long time. Do not save that 25%, 30%, and then get into a mess of getting screwed left, right, center. Every letter I issue you, I bill you. Do you understand? So be very, very careful not to get screwed. Because I almost got screwed one time. But because my lawyer very king chow come back into the picture, although I hate them and use them, but pay them enough fee, they will wipe the blur. Make sense? Don't mess with me. My brother is a lawyer. Remember how many friends I have? Okay? Don't screw with me because they pissed me off last time. So now they have to pay back. Alright? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Second, third person. The last and final person that you must have in your mastermind group. Okay? Very, very important. The last and final person you must have in your mastermind group. Any guesses?
Accountant.
Sorry? So clever. When you get a book, you just not ask me for what I say no, but means something. Not just accountant. It must also be accountant / taxation purposes. Karena Ernie, your final get is well done. Good job. Hey, want to clap properly? You must have a taxation accountant. Okay? It's always good to have the accountant who is a CFO in your company, so don't need to pay. So you just ask him, hey, this one can or not? That one can or not? This one can. Chartered accountant. He signed on it, anything go wrong, he go to jail. You don't have to go to jail. I always have the accountant for the reason. Anything go wrong. These four individuals, this one I don't have to explain lah. Okay, self-explanatory. These four over here are very critical second strategy you must put in place if you want to play properties big time. Okay? There is no way I, myself alone, can have the expertise and time for this kind of work over here. No way. Because it's a lot of real-time knowledge information that you're always going to update, right? Or time to update those businesses. But what I did was because I focus on businesses, all the properties that I buy, alright, is always focusing on my businesses. You understand? So I always buy businesses, always buy properties for my businesses use. So who is the tenant of my properties? Myself. Who is the boss of the business? Myself. So who do I rent to? Myself. Am I going to not pay rental? Why? I'm the boss, dare not pay. I'm the owner, so dare not pay. How do not pay? Must pay, man. So it's very important, depending on your objective. The first thing when you buy a property, you need to ask a question. What's my objective of buying this property? What's your? Second question. What is my exit game plan? My exit strategy. What's the second question? Means to say, how are you going to make money from this? Okay, and the question usually answers like this. Are you buying to stay because there's no value you can put? It's your dream house. Because you want to put 7 bulldogs, 20 Labradors, and 30 golden retrievers. So am I going to say that, no, you cannot have that big house and big garden? I can't say that, it's your dream house. So there's no value you can put to it. Right? But I call it stupid. Because you don't really need so much space, unless you're like Uncle Lim Gotong, nothing else better to do with the money, then you just want to buy a big house. So it really depends on your objective. Why are you buying? Buying to stay? Are you buying to invest to make money out of it? And there are many, many strategies to invest in, and I don't need to tell you because you can read from the books itself. You understand? So it's important to know this. Here, second strategy. What was the first strategy? What was the first strategy just now? Read all the property advertisements. Online, offline, wherever, read. I didn't say buy. I say read. You know why it's good to read from here and not go to property fairs now? Because property fairs, everything got nice design one. Playing with your emo. You know what's emo? You see, wow. Especially just got married or right before get married. Honey, next time when you hear that word, honey, our dream house, immediately think of my face. Then you wake up. Very important to wake up. Because you need to buy sensibly. Yeah? Got it? Second strategy, put in place a mastermind group. What? Mastermind group. Very good. Third and final strategy before I hand over to Adrian. Third and final strategy, okay, is, everybody will tell you this one. Third and final strategy is called knowing the direction of growth of the area. Direction of growth. What I'm going to show you right now, stand by, I'm going to show you a video. You all don't have to, wait, this video, wait. Don't need to write. Like, enjoy the video. You just need to go to YouTube afterward. Okay? It's already on YouTube. Public knowledge. It's just that public knowledge is not very public. Most people are idiots. No, I'm not calling you idiots. Okay? Most people are idiots because they say they want something, but then they don't go look for it. Everything you need to know is already there. So you just need to find what you want to know. Third strategy, self-explanatory. I want you to watch this video and see this MRT development of the country. And I'm sure everywhere you go right now, in the Klang Valley area, very sesak jam, right? That's why some of you also late to come here. You look at this, it's not talking anymore. Government already settled already. Whatever, outdated. MRT full steam ahead. Very fast, no. Wow, this one, wow, up and wow. Okay? So I want you to watch the whole MRT. Very nice video done. Look at the locations. Look at the locations. Don't go and buy at the location right in the middle of the track, somewhere in the jungle. Look at the location where it's nearby a station. Next station, Cheras Pedana, for example. Okay? So you look for those stations, by about 5 to 10 kilometers away, should be pretty good bet. And they will show you the new buildings coming up in those areas when you hit those areas. Is this worth coming to tonight already? Haven't even reached to the expert yet. My turn as an investor, I share with you also you feel like that. Watch this. Most people do not know this exists. It's just about 4 minutes long. Lights off. Punggol Financial District. Now everyone here knows. It's on YouTube. You just key in MRT Malaysia. Okay? Such a nice video. Use it. Do you see all the white buildings? How many stations in total? 51 kilometers for you to look into investing. 31 stations. Hello? Got money or not? God, don't have? God! That's why you have to listen to him. He will tell you what are the ways to find money to invest and package it up nicely. First thing first, here and here must always say what? Yes. Must say what? Yes. Everybody finger like this. Must say what? Yes. Yes. Got money or not? God. If you say no, leave. Don't waste time. You understand? Your mind and your heart must always know and say yes. If you don't say yes, the money won't come one. When you say yes, your mind and your heart and everything start to figure out how to find that money one. You understand? I do business, I buy properties, always the same. Always the same. Alright? I have bought a lot of properties, made money in every single one of them. Okay? The latest one, and how I do it usually is, I buy a property, alright? I like to see a property there one. I don't like to buy property not ready one. Usually your first buyer, if it's your first buy, my personal advice, okay, or my personal advice for me that has worked, buy a property that already is ready at developer's price. Ready, you nampak already. So you don't have a chance of kena con. Okay, but building also not ready. Oh, very nice picture. First property must very nice building. Must feel, see. Got thing in front of a grave or not? Oh, you must see, must be able to see. First property, buy something that's ready at what price? Developer's price. How does this work? I have agents and marketing people in property companies, and this is what they do. This strategy no one will ever teach you one, because it's all from real life experience. There are properties that have been in the market for how many months? 6 months already. A lot of people already buy. They put the color, you know, the dot, 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 dot. Sometimes you go in all dot, 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 dot already, right? You know what I do? I always go in 3 months to 6 months after all the dot, 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 dot go in there. Because within 3 months to 6 months, all the dot, 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 dot slowly remove. You know why? Loan not approved. And usually are the very nice units one, you know. So when they get it to be not approved, guess what do I do? Buy all those nice units now. Do you understand? So get those people to call you because they know, hey, Ernie, nice unit, the guy loan not approved. You want or not? You go and see, you see, you buy. Still at developer's price. may cause out, haven't sub sale yet. Means to say the price has not gone up for 10 to 15% yet. Still at the developer. Means to say someone who bought 3 months ago, 6 months ago, still the same price. Good or not good? Good, because sure good unique one. Make sense? So that's one of the things that I do. And very importantly, make sure you figure out how to find money for your properties, and he's going to teach you how. So Adrian is a friend from a friend that I met, but I've read his history. He formerly gangster, so don't ask him to take off his shirt. A lot of dragon tattoos and everything, just in case after you stare wrongly. So he's a former gangsters, and gangsters are good people to get to know. Why? Because street people are very street smart. They have street ways to figure out things that most people not from the street don't know. So it's good to be on the street because they walk a lot and they see a lot of buildings. Right. So he has got a lot of experience in properties, mortgages, loans. And one thing I like when he said when I went to one of his sessions was this. Different banks have got different packages. Not all banks are built the same. Not all packages are built the same. Different banks have got different pressure. Sometimes they need to have more sales. So they change the package to suit you better. Sometimes they lancy a bit like Maybank. I don't need that. So they, no, not approved. No, not approved. So it all depends. And good people to know are people like Adrian so that they can show you and package it nicely so that you can get a loan no matter what kind of income. I've heard before, you can even get up to 150% loan. I've not done it myself. I don't know how to do it. So maybe he will share with you since if you are nice enough to him. Alright? Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Adrian, who is an industry manager partner.
Very nice introduction by Ernie. Good evening to all of you. I'm actually very honored to be invited by Ernie and his management team to actually share with you over the next half an hour, a bit on property investments. Allow me to introduce myself. First of all, I think Skybridge International, this is a company mainly focused on education. Not so much of business, but we are actually on education on property investments. We share knowledge, we share experiences with our members so that they can make investments in properties using performing due diligence. It means to say that you must make sure you perform due diligence every step of the way when it comes to property investments. Next. This is just a brief resume, not as colorful as Ernie. Of course, Skybridge, I co-founded, and I'm also the co-founder and managing director of Mortgage Brokers in Bahad. The rest of it, like I said, is not as colorful. Yeah, next. Just some pictures that we have spoken before in the past. Next. How it all started, I think it was spot on gangster. I've not heard the word for a long time. We don't call ourselves gangsters those days. But anyway, just to tell you, this is where I was born and raised. If you're from Kuala Lumpur, your father, your parents would definitely have heard of this place called Perkeleling Flats. How many of you have heard of Perkeleling Flats? Okay. So those younger ones, you don't know. It's a beautiful place, seriously. Seriously, beautiful place. Why? Because this place is so notorious that it builds character. Now, gangsters, yes, but I was never the frontliners. I'm always the backline. Have you seen the movie Braveheart? You have people instigate, fire up the courages of the army of Scots. I'm always the back one. So I call myself the Central Intelligence Unit. Whereas the one carrying parang, so they will get hurt and all stuff. So we had no choice. I think if you ask your parents, most of those public housing areas those days was really, really notorious. I mean, I see drug addicts more than I see a degree holder every day. I've got drug addicts who just lie, in a coma, just outside my hall, and we had gang fights all the time. There's one thing I didn't reveal. I don't think anyone knows about this. I used to be very good at stealing tire rims. Let's put it this way. I'm very good at stealing tire rims as well. You watch the movies called Gone in 60 Seconds. Yeah, the movie by Nicolas Cage. I can take off your rim from the car just like that, without using any electronic tools. That was how good I was those days. Like I said, I was never really involved in any fights. Always very, very obedient. But over the years, I've got a lot of friends who, pretty much my same age, who actually passed away due to gang fights. Some brain damage, some slashed to death, some still slurred in speech. Till today, I still got one friend who still don't know what he's doing. Now that's sad. That's the sad part. When one of my friends, my close friends, actually passed away, that sort of like woke me up. I was like, wow, people actually died from gang fights. I thought we were gonna have cuts, and then anti-glass all over the place, Then the next following week you should be all right. But when my friend actually died from a gang fight, that sort of woke me up. I said, I gotta stay away from all this. And my parents were really lovely. They really, really loved me a lot. And they said, why don't you get a real job? Go earn a decent living. So I went and applied for a job in a bank at age 18 plus, after my diploma, I went to Japan for a exchange program. So that changed a lot, changed me a lot. You study the Japanese culture. And when I came back, I started applying for a job, and I got myself a sales job in a foreign bank. And that was, my salary was 572 ringgit. So some of you youngsters here, 572 ringgit is just peanuts, yeah? But at that time, 572 ringgit for me is actually a great deal. But I wasn't happy, but I didn't have a degree. So this Punjabi guy, I will always forever remember him. He said, a few months into the job, he said, you look like a very enthusiastic and positive and full of courage. I bet you want to be a CEO someday of this bank. I said, of course, with a bit of hard work and luck, why not? And he said, you're not going to get a job. You're not going to be a CEO of this bank. Can you imagine me, 19 years old, full of enthusiasm, suddenly someone just said, you're not going to get a high position? So I was like a bit upset. I said, why did you say that? He said, look at me. I've been working in the bank for the last 30 years. And my pay is still as low. He's a deputy, he's a vice president or something like that. Quite high position. He's going to retire. So he said, you're not going to get a job. You're not going to get a fat salary. So I said, then what? Do you want to be rich? He just asked me this one. Can you imagine a Punjabi telling a Chinaman, do you want to be rich? I said, and the best part of it all is he's always drunk. Smell of alcohol. Yeah? So you know what people tell you, don't trust a drunk person. When you say something, don't believe 100%. But he was very kind-hearted. He said, if you want to be rich, you can. You are sitting in the best department of all time. Because I was in the mortgage department, and I was doing sales, I was doing research, I was liaising with developers. But to me, that's a job. Do you know, every day I had to walk from this place to work. I take a bus to work, but I walk home. You know where is Lebuang Pang Jalan Masjid here? I had to walk 4 times a week just to save my money on my salary so that I don't spend unnecessarily. My lunchtime, water, you know what do you call it? Those water dispenser, free, they can get from the bank, and bread. My size, half. I was really, really skinny, but I was happy. So he said, young man, why don't you make the most out of the information that you have? I still do not have any idea what he was talking about. He said, you have the information, you have the relationship with certain developers, invest, make money while you're at it. I still don't understand what he was talking about. He said, go flip some properties. At age 19, flip. What is flip? I checked the dictionary say either flip burger or flip a coin. There is such thing as flipping properties, Then when I discovered the true meaning of flipping properties, I know that, okay, you invest in property, then hopefully you sell it off, you make some money. But the problem is at age 19, I don't have money. I don't have enough savings. Now, being young and I said, I need a little bit of money. I have got my savings. Without no question, she must have loved me a lot. And she gave me some money, go and make some investment. I invested. I made my first 20,000 at about, I think, early 20s. I made my first investment. I made only about 20,000. Till today, I still do not know whether I returned back the money to my ex-girlfriend. Anyway, that's the story. The 20,000 I made, immediately when I received the check, I start doing my math calculation. Remember, my salary was 572 ringgit, and I have a check, 20,000. You know how many times that is? So I begin to figure, this is good. Then I actually told the Punjabi guy, he said, don't get cocky, don't get arrogant. I want you to put the 20,000 back into property investment. Before you invest in any projects, any development, make sure you tell me all the information about this development. If I say yes, you buy. So I did a lot of homework. Really, I did really thorough research on certain locations, like what Mr. Ernie said. You must know what is the upcoming plan, what is the upcoming development. So I did that. So it became a habit. Over the next 5-6 years, I made so much money through property investments that none of my colleagues know what I was doing. My parents don't even know what I was doing because I didn't share with them my success. I want to keep it P&C. Then I figure out my salary was about, I think I got promotion and stuff, I was earning about 900 plus ringgit. No big deal. 1 month, I remember I moved to another bank, I got promoted. 1 month after my promotion, all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, I just tendered my resignation. My general manager asked me, what are you doing? Another bank give you another offer? I said, no, I want to go for my studies. Without second thoughts, they said, go, you have my blessing. And at that time, I still have not figured out where to find money. I know I have a little bit of savings. I know I wanted to get that stupid degree, the priceless degree, because everybody has it, I don't even have it. So I enrolled myself in colleges. I did. I went to Sydney and did my degree. I don't really have money, right? I did all sorts of jobs in Sydney, in Australia. I sold pirated VCDs. I'm not kidding you. I also pirated VCDs. My sales pitch? Bao Cheng, Cheng Bao. Means sure clear copy. If not clear copy, I will refund you the college. That was my sales pitch. You heard it so much in Malaysia. We don't have DVD back then, so we had VCDs. So I was doing that, and seriously, are all of you above 18? Yeah? I shouldn't share too much. Anyway, I did a lot of stuff. I organized beauty pageants. I run for overseas students officers, the position and all the stuff. I get all sorts of income. That's how I got through. I came back. The best part was my former GM calls me and says, I heard you're back. Would you like to come back? I've got a department for you. I said, what? To head the mortgage development department. That department itself, I was least excited on the income, on the salary. I wasn't excited about it. But I was so excited about the department that I'm going to head. I was entrusted to take charge of all the developers in the whole of Malaysia. Means build relationship, do feasibility market studies and stuff. So over the last 20 years, most of the developers in town are my good friends. And I know which are bad apples, which are good apples. Means good developer and bad developers. I would know. In the industry, I always believe one thing. A leopard will never change its spots. If you understand the true meaning of it, it simply means a bad developer, very unlikely, will become good. Now, please don't like what Mr. Ernie said, don't challenge me and say, oh, developers can change. In my perspective, even though the father is bad, You say you want to pass on to the son, the new generation, you'll turn to be good. In Malaysia, no. Nobody has spent more time studying the developers market than me myself. I dare say this, there's only 2 persons in this industry who knows the developers market inside out. I'm ranked number 2. You want to know the first one? Died a long time ago. No one in the industry. I've checked, I've counted, checked. Most of the general managers of the banks are some of my ex-staff, some of my colleagues. They tell me, he says, I think in the industry, no one knows the developer's background in the whole Malaysia, inside out, other than you, right now. Okay? Now, just move on. We're supposed to talk about property strategies, yeah? Yeah, just move on. When I first started, along the way, my so-called Sifu, my mentor, they always tell me, you must learn and invest at the same time. Don't just invest without knowing all the legal aspects of it. Understand what is your right as a consumer. That's why you see it in the early 80s, towards the early 90s. You see a lot of people suffered from being a victim of abandoned projects. Project get delayed, being cheated by developer. Project didn't even start when after they made the deposit, they make the bookings. During the mid 80s to the late to the beginning of 90s, a lot of people struggled. Do you know Singaporeans those days? They burned themselves so much that at one point, if any of the Malaysian agents were to propose a Malaysian property to a Singaporean, the Singaporean would scold the agent. Because they say, your Malaysian developers are very, very, very cool, always involved in abandoned projects. That's why I think at a point that I spend my time, like Mr. Ernie here, I actually do a lot of studies. I do a lot of research. And the best part of it all is, over the years, even till today, because I run a mortgage broking company, I have about 7 banks who send me on a monthly basis private and confidential reports about which developers are good, which developer is already financially in distress, which developer is financially, the net gearing is very strong or very high. So we know who are these bad apples in the industry right now. Now, for all of you here, you may think that public listed developers are good, right? You flip the newspaper, you see, wow, first block fully sold. But if you really dig deeper, you will know that financially, they are very distressed right now. For example, if a developer were to sell land away, is that a good sign? Developers buy land, right, to increase their land bank. We hardly hear developers sell land. That's one sign. Number 2, for all of you who are new here, sometimes when you want to buy property from developer, you dig deeper, you find out what is their net gearing. Because you cannot deny the fact that when you want to buy from a developer, you have to understand their financial status, their financial standing. How strong can they deliver the end product? You must know that. And how we measure in the industry is net gearing. I'm not sure how many of you do finance here. Net gearing on a scale of 0 to 1. Okay? If it's 0.5 and below, this developer is still financially quite sound. If your net gearing is 0.8, 0.9, this developer is getting very, very risky. It means $1, 1 ringgit that the developer has in his pocket, he owes people 90 cents. That's what it means by 0.9 net gearing. So sometimes you read the papers, you will find this developer is 0.7 or 0.5. They have to start selling off their assets, their properties to pay down their borrowings. So this is also something that you should know. Find out who are you buying from. Next. Now, why you have to start early? You can continue. Yeah? Okay, go on until here. Is there anything? No, all right. You have to understand that property is basically hedging against inflation. I'll be very honest with you. Most of us here will not own a property. Sad, but true. most of us here will not own a property if you have not invested property. Now, if you are hungry enough, okay, you must start finding ways to invest in properties. Then the next question people ask, but Adrian, I don't have the down payment. Is that my problem? Let me share with you something. I come from a background so poor that I had rice with soy sauce for lunch. I had shoes that has got no shoelace, where all my friends has got shoelace. I'm hungry. I'm motivated. I have a strong desire to get out of poverty. Whether I become a millionaire or not, that's irrelevant. But at that point, I want to get out, and I know that when I join the bank, I know that property is my ticket to freedom, to provide all the necessary comfort for my family. And I find ways. You, the younger generation, please don't waste your time, your money on unproductive stuff. I think you all know, huh? If you're already smart enough, you want to get a head start, property can be your ticket. Of course, there are many like unit trusts, land banking, gold. I only believe in property, and only property. And I'm so focused. You know, when Mr. Ernie said that over the weekend, sometimes we go viewing developer's office, I do that every week. And the best part is, my wife right now love it. He said, if I don't go to developer's viewing site, I said, hey, how come you never take me to developer's site? We share the same passion. Those days, my girlfriend, when I was young, I worked in developer's office 7 days a week. My poor girlfriend standing there. So when I was doing end financing loan for customers. And because my girlfriend was so chun, the customer thought that she is my colleague. All the loan applications go to her. So I said, yeah, you know, how come he's like talking to her, asking about loans? But I teach her a little bit, I know. But anyway, you have, if you believe property can be a ticket of freedom, go find the money. Now, you may think that using parents' money, why not? Your parents will understand if you ask them for money, if you want to invest in property. Rather than, you know, take money and maybe go and invest in a car. Yeah? So, parents could be one source of income. Your own savings, you want to start off. Let's say you're too young to even consider. Join with your brother or sister. At least you know the whole process of the buying, you know, of the whole process of owning a property. You learn from that. Your investment share could be as low as 5,000, could be at 10,000. But you could actually have a lot of learning experience along the way. So please start early. If you're hungry enough, you know there's one Malayan chef in the industry right now. Do you know how he started? He has no money. He used credit card, okay, and he used the credit card. Let's say he's got a few friends who want to buy fridge, TV, and all stuff, but they don't have credit card. So he said, well, why don't you pay me cash? I will swipe so that you can own the TVs and whatnot. That's to his friends. He actually swiped for about 12 months installment free kind of thing. He actually used leverage on his credit card to make investments in properties. And if you understand, his book is a Malay chap called Farizul Rizwan. I think the title is called WTF, 23 Properties by age 30. If you have a strong will, desire, you will make it rich in property investments. Just like Ernie, I own a lot of properties. A lot of properties. But most of my properties, I've never failed in my investment, let's put it this way. I've never failed in my investment. But my wife always said, dear, aren't you worried now? You have millions and millions of loans in the banking system. How can you sleep so well at night? Don't worry, I sleep very well. I want to keep on borrowing until the bank can sleep. Yeah. income, if you're under employment, let's face this, our income will not rise in tandem with property prices. We will never be able to catch up. Property prices will increase. If I share with you, because during my preview, I share a lot of property prices comparisons. If you go into Johor Bahru right now, do you know that Johor Bahru prices is more expensive than Klang Valley? And people are still buying. So, go figure. Learn the trade now. You don't have to study about property. Then you go invest. Don't do that. You pick up as much information as possible. Ask Mr. Ernie himself. Ask a lot of seasoned investors. Most of the investors, I tell you, Malaysians are very nice people. You ask, you get. You don't ask. When I was young, my mentor always says, "You see that old man there, the silver hair color? Go and mix with him." I said, "How? Means what? Age gap." He says, "No, go and ask." I said, "Uncle, I want to ask you one question." I did that. I realized over the last 20 years, most of Malaysians are very kind-hearted. If you dare to ask, they will share with you experience. They won't say, "I don't disturb me like and stuff." No. Malaysians are generally very good at sharing. Yeah? But some share with a cost. You know, something you have to pay one. But most of them, they're actually very nice. Yeah? Financial freedom. People ask me, "Hey, you made your money. What is it?" I'll be very honest with you. You want cars? I have a few cars. Sports car, I've got. You want bungalows? I have. You want. The only thing I don't have, I have lovely kids. I have a wife. The only thing I don't have right now is a dog. Yeah, but everything else I have. I don't go to. I manage about 2 to 3 businesses. Not as great as Mr. Ernie. But I still wake up at 5:30 a.m. every morning. I don't go to the office. Maybe I go like twice a week to the office. That kind of lifestyle, would you love to have? Where you don't get stressed out about jam, and even if I go 11 o'clock, I go maybe about 2 o'clock after lunch. I'll just get back home and I start playing PlayStation games. At my age, can you imagine that? Now that kind of lifestyle is actually quite nice. I kind of like that kind of lifestyle. I'm not asking you to retire, yeah? I still work at 5:30 a.m. in the morning. I put on my laptop. I'll still do my research. My coffee, my laptop. I'm still doing a lot of communications. That's why my CEO sometimes at 5:30 a.m. we were like communicating already, or on emails and all stuff. And I sleep very early. Yeah, for bedtime actually. So you must have this mindset. People tell you must have millionaire mindset. To me, that's fine, but the execution must be there. You must have a strong will, strong desire. You learn, and then you put into practice. Then you will come to a stage that you will tell yourself, "I don't need to retire. I will choose to work whenever I want to." I don't want to paint a rosy picture, but for beginners, have a good mindset that's very, very powerful. This one, I think Mr. Ernie was spot on. From beginning, always get yourself a good team. You want to be successful, you cannot do it yourself. Get a good team. They will help you along the way. Next. Now, I won't go into details, but there's 2 things that I will share with you. Science and art of investment. It may sound a bit cheesy, yeah? What do you mean, art and science? It's not like art stream, science stream. Yeah? Over my last 20 years, I realized there's 2 things. Number 1, what is science? You need to know how to crunch your numbers, calculate, perform due diligence, understand the financial terms, how to read statistics, analyze. I'm not asking you to be an economist, but the least you should have is to arm yourself with financial terms. And when people start talking about it, hey, the rental yield is 6%, you know how to derive the rental yield. When people say, hey, the debt service ratio is as such, you know what they are talking about. It pays to learn early. Yeah? That to me is, as long as you know your numbers, you know how to analyze data, yeah, not in depth, but at least you know the basics, fundamentals, that should put you in good stead. Art. Robert Kiyosaki's book, I read once. I only believe about 50% what he says, because as far as the quadrant and all stuff, fantastic. But there's certain things that he mentioned about property investments that it's only applicable over there. In Malaysia, you have to understand what a normal Malaysian is thinking. If I'm a buyer, I need to know what my seller is thinking. If I'm a seller, I need to know what my buyer is thinking. That to me is art. There are certain things that in property investments that you cannot explain scientifically. Really, you cannot explain. You are playing a mind games now. Because property is always still an art of negotiation. You know how to play mind games with lawyers, with bankers, with real estate agents, tax consultants. I've got a very shrewd tax consultant. I should give him an award, and I'm still engaging him. He's so good. In Cantonese, ho gan, very gan. Means he is so shrewd that he's really good. He's on my side. Real estate agents, I have a love-hate relationship with them. Why? Because they know my demand is very, very high. Yeah? Mortgage bankers, I'm already one myself. Yeah? Lawyer, a few. So you need to have a good team. So leverage on other people's money. Always make use of other people's money. Other people's expertise, other people's information, you capitalize on it. Other people's network, definitely for sure. You yourself cannot hunt for properties all the time. You need people to tell you. Oh, by the way, before I forget, you know the LRT station that's going on? The slide that Mr. Ernie showed you just now? I just clinched a big deal for my existing members. Cheras, you saw that the Leisure Mall Cheras station? You all know where's Cheras Auto City? The second-hand car dealer shop? You know it's going to be demolished. I think it's already been demolished. The cars are no longer there, I was told. There's going to be a big mega mixed development there coming up. So this morning I just got news that I won the bid to market that.
So do they get first prize?
Arrange another session, yeah? Arrange another session. But that one, you can do your study. It's called, in the internet, it's called ECO Business Park. I think there are a lot of comments in the ECO Business Park. You decide yourself whether it's good or bad. But just to let you know, my family members are all checks already start issued. So just to let you know. Right? This one. I just want to share with you how important it is to have an exit plan. To you may say, what are you talking about, Adrian? What is exit plan? When I buy into something, I must understand what are my probabilities of renting at this rental yield. I must understand and anticipate my return on investment at how many percent. The question is, Adrian, how would you know? I don't buy things blindly. When I buy a location, a project, I always do very in-depth study about the demographics, the surrounding buildings, competitor, what is the rental yield, what is the demand like, what is the segmentation of the customers, what's the age group, what is the purchasing power. You think I'm kidding? No, I'm not. You throw me a location, I'll tell you what is the population of the area. Rawang, Selayang has got 530,000, Kelana Jaya has got 400,000, whereas Bandar Seri alone only has about 50,000. I do analysis on that. You ask me, where do I get the numbers from? You go and check the internet, you know the what? Jabatan Banci, the census. The information is 2010. I do a lot of search for my own sake, for my own knowledge. So when the point is that when it comes to property investments, if you've done enough due diligence on the project, the location, the product type, it means your probability of your returns will be higher. How do you anticipate what percentage. If I buy at 1 million, should I sell at 1.3? Because in my plan, when I buy into something for flipping, means for speculation purpose, I always buy. If I buy 1 million, okay, at 1.4 I will sell. If it, even somebody said don't sell, sell at 1.5, no. 1.4 I will sell. That is my exit plan. Because you have to understand something, just like in all investments, greed will come into place. We are all humans after all. When you get too greedy, that's where you fail in your property investments. Understand? If you are playing for flipping game, some are playing long-term investment yield. Yeah, long-term rental yield returns. You can play that, but you anticipate. Once you've done enough homework, you may get the desired results. Yeah? In my book and my session as well, I touch a lot of the concept of smart investments. What are the things I go into details, but I wouldn't discuss this today. Next. Okay, I'm coming to the end. Last 2 slides. Never fall in love with property. You know, I always, when I negotiate deals with people, I'm always emotionless. Means I don't show my excitement. You know, sometimes you go to see something, like you guys are going for minions. My God, I wish I would love to do that. You know, but you don't show your excitement. Never show excitement. In Cantonese, it means mo payan, Cantonese, you all know what? It means in English, don't let people discover your underline your card. It means what?
The last card.
Yeah, don't let people discover your last card. Yeah. Never show your excitement to anybody. I walk into a developer's office, I see a sales showroom, right? Normally you always like, wow, you know, wow, look at the tiles from Egypt. Wow, look at from the shower head from Iran. Look at this one, wow, from France. You all get too excited. That's where your decision making all gone down the drain. Yeah. So what I'm trying to share is this: when you negotiate in property, don't show expression. That's why I don't bring my wife to all the sales offices. You know. So I do my one-man show. I make decisions myself. Rules of engagement: always understand your rights. You see, the thing is that once you know the law, property, you don't have to study land law, but you know there's some legal rights. You know the Housing Development Acts. You know some stuff about property. If you walk into a developer's office or you negotiate with a real estate agent, you feel confident. You feel confident. When whatever the real estate agent says, hey, I know this, don't simply say that I know my rights are. When you negotiate, you have power, so that the agent is like, this guy knows stuff. Maybe I shouldn't say too much, you know, to respect him. That's negotiation. But if you don't have anything at all, you're just going there, he will twist and turn you around. You know? And you always get the raw deal. Yeah? I've explained this. Moral hazard. I know most of us here are seminar junkies. I know I am. I always love to attend seminars. But in future, if any one of you attend those property investment seminars, yeah, be very careful. There are a lot of property speakers in the market right now. They'll tell you, they are very good speakers. They'll show you towards the end, I've got a project here. So good, so good, so good, so good, so good, so good. If you don't buy, you will miss this opportunity. You know what? Half of the class will take up their credit card, zombie, queue up, longer queue than a just go sale, you know. You think I'm kidding? Try going to some of these property seminars and see, especially those that introduce projects on. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I always want to share with you something. Before you part with your money to make any bookings, first find out who's the speaker. Find out what project is he introducing, who's the developer. There is no such thing as, you know, the sales pitch. You must buy now. If you don't buy now, you will miss the boat. If it's sold out, I'm sorry. Please don't fall for this order trick. Always find out because of this moral hazard. Why? Sometimes, as a property speaker, including myself, you can do due diligence on me, check my background. Sometimes the speaker consultant can hypnotize you. They are using your money to invest on their own. And the responsibility lies with who? Not with him, He doesn't care if you lose your money. It's your money after all. So you understand what I'm trying to say. Be very careful. Understand what is this term, moral hazard. Herd mentality, when you do a sales, you go to a sales office, you see people crowding, right? Sometimes it's good, don't also rush in. Take a back seat. If you're really concerned, I teach you one strategy that I've been using. Very effective. I get excited sometimes because hey, a lot of people going to the sales office, you must go. I go, I saw a lot of people. Okay, then what? I have not heard of this developer before. What I'll do, my seafood used to teach me. Take a back seat, go home, take a cold shower, have a hot cup of tea. When you rationalize things, you ask yourself, have you done checking on da? If you have done, you're still interested to buy, never mind, you can go. But if you fail to get the choice you need or anything like that, you can choose not to buy. It is okay. Good deals will forever come. It will never be exhaustive. But I want to share with you something. If you're so involved in property, right, please take action. Once you've done all the stuff, take action. Don't attend 20 seminars and ask me if I bump into you. Hey, have you bought? No. I'm still learning. I want to learn from the best. There is no such thing as the best. If you know the fundamentals, you do your due diligence checking, make the decision, buy the property. From then, you will learn the practical experience yourself. Yeah? Next. This may be a bit too deep. GRR scheme, it means guaranteed return scheme. Nowadays, if you look at the newspaper, there's a lot of schemes that gives you a guaranteed return scheme. Be careful on that, yeah? Because a lot of people do not know how to read the contracts. As a result, we are being shortchanged later on. So some of these things I thought you must know. Stay with your day job. Stay with your day job. Next time, if you bump into me or I bump into you, you're already a successful investor. If you call yourself a full-time investor, then please don't come to me. Why? I have nothing against you if you're a full-time investor. I just feel that you are irresponsible, especially if you're married, you've got kids. I know you make money through properties. Because of that, you got all excited and you decided to quit your job and become a full-time investor. For me, that is irresponsible because you know in all investment always has risk. Always has risk. Up and down, up and down. Good times, you're lucky, yes, you make millions. Bad times, when a crisis comes, you cheat. You die, never mind, your kids, your family members, who's going to feed them? That's why you must understand when it comes to investment, be very, very responsible. It's not your game anymore, especially when you have families involved. Yeah, think about it. Stay with your day job, property investment as a side. I think you'll be happy. Ernie looks happy to me every day. He's smiling, look at the way he presented, so energetic. It means he's full of energy because he's happy with what he's doing and he's getting returns on his investment. That's life. That's life. Yeah? So I'll come to the end already. Next. If you need to know more, you can log on to my company website. Next. No more. Yeah, this is the company website. If you want to find out more for the full preview, it's a free preview. It's for 2 hours. The dates and the venue is all on the website, or you can search it us in Facebook to find out more. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask, if not, I shall end. Any question you'd like to ask? My fellow
We'll open the floor for questions. Any questions?
potential millionaires?
Hello. If you've seen his face on newspaper with certain property, he speaks also at certain property. So you next time when you hear him talk will be expensive. So since he's here, Portman got him here, you better ask questions. Free of charge today.
I'm really, very honestly, the first thing when Ernie's team invited me, says, who are these people? He said, oh, these are young folks, you know. I said, no worries, I'll be there. Because as it is, I mean, I don't need pyramid. You know how much Purpose pays me? I'm sure they pay very highly for me. People pay very highly for me to speak 1 hour. I came here, I say, young generations, let's do this. Let's do this. I want to, hopefully, I mean, a bit cheesy, but I really would love to share my experiences with young people, especially when you are struggling. I know you have very good education, but let's be honest, sometimes good education, you come up, you are like lost of sense of direction. It's like you do not know which job, which industry you are going. That's fine, that's fine. But you must understand the concept of investment. It will get you really good returns, you know. So any questions you'd like to ask, you know, please feel free. Nothing? You are shy? You cannot be shy, you know. Yes?
What are the current best way to save your money for first investment?
What is the best way to save up? You see, the thing is that one thing you must understand is that nobody can teach you. You have to analyze yourself. Sorry, are you working now or what?
I'm still a student.
You're still a student. That's fine. Then where do you get a source of money from? Parents?
Like from scholarship or part-time.
Part-time work? That's source of income. Very simple. In Malaysia, do you know, I love about being Malaysian, do you know Malaysia has got one of the highest savings rates? Used to. Now we have one of the highest household debt. Because people tend to forget the concept of savings anymore. You know, you all change clothes like, you know, change clothes. Now, if there's no, if you can sit down, you can sit down. To answer your question, if you're getting a part-time job, then it depends how prudent you are. I mean, some of the things that is it necessary for you to buy? Look, I earned 572 ringgit. That was 19 years ago, but the cost of living was relatively low. But I still managed to save, you know. I still managed to save. Forget about the drinking break and drinking water and break for lunch. But I treat myself really, really well. But I still have a lot of savings. I don't spend on unnecessary items. So you have to, okay, for newcomers in property investment, do a self-financial analysis. You do your own financial analysis. Let's say you got income as such, what are your expenses? That means necessary expenses and not so necessary, not essential expenses. Then you see what is your savings at the end of the day. You will find out whether it makes sense at the rate that you are saving. If not, maybe there are certain things that you need to cut. Yeah. Tighten your belt a bit. It's okay. Because you're doing this for your own future. You're not doing it for other people. You're doing it for your own future.
Not like John the hair gel, don't need to buy so expensive one. Cheaper one, same size, 50%.
Coconut oil. Any other questions you'd like to ask? Yes.
How do you get the 150%?
Well, it's not actually 150% though. Okay, in the industry, 150% debt service ratio. It means in the bank right now, they approve only averagely about 80%. I'm not sure whether you all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, averagely, right? The banks right now, they approve your loan at 80% on average, which means to say that if your income, if your loan installment is 8,000, your minimum income, minimum net income is how much? 10,000. Yeah, 8,000 divided by 10,000 is 80%.
This is very important. Note this down.
This is what the bank are approving, the benchmark for them. Anything beyond 80%, most likely the bank will reject the loan. However, there are a lot of guidelines that the bank won't announce it to the public. They have certain ways of approving the loans. I'll tell you honestly, why banks are telling me all these strategies? Because they want business. But they don't want to let Bank Negara know. You know what I'm trying to say? Because Bank Negara is controlling, be prudent. But the bank wants business. So can you imagine if, let's say, right? Jackie, you're Chinese or Malay? Have you looked in the mirror? Anyway, so the bank wants business. The Bank Negara is controlling. So banks are quietly telling us, hey, we can do this way. Why you think that? I've done it before. Now you all heard in the newspaper, if you have more than 2 housing loans, your first is 90% loan, right? Your second is 30% loan, right? Your third is only 70%, right? What if I say that I can do up to 90% also? There are many ways to skin the cat. I'll tell you honestly, I work with 7 banks. The biggest bank is what I thought. The smallest bank is what I thought. Maybank is appointed us. Legally, the smallest bank is who? The largest bank. So the big one and the small one are working between us. So every time they give us a memo, we call it the risk appetite. We know which bank will favor which sort of customer. And we will normally help them based on the customer's risk appetite and whatnot. So we know there are strategies. One thing, as long as your repayment record in the system is beautiful, you can perform a lot of wonders. A good banker will suggest different ways to help you. A lazy banker will tell you, tak boleh buat. Okay? A good banker will always suggest ways to try many ways to help you. And these type of bankers, like what Ernie said, you must hold to them dearly, unless they got promoted or jump to another bank. But you must hold on to them dearly, because don't underestimate bankers. I get very upset when customers always treat their bankers like dogs. Maybe you're not realizing. You know those days, my uncle, he says, tell the kids, because banking profession during my time is not highly looked upon. You tell the kids, you better study well. If not, you become an underage, become a banker, become a mortgage sales officer. I thought that, I said, wow, I get very upset. So what I'm trying to say is that a good banker, hold on to them. They will treat you very well with respect. They give you a lot of information to, like which developer is going to launch what, they will tell you, and you will benefit from that. Right? Last questions? Yes. The one that you're the one who won the book, right? Okay.
Which spray have to buy now for again in 2 years time?
Sorry?
Which spray have to buy now to again in 2 years time?
Which place? Which place?
Should you buy now? Okay. I agree with what Mr. Ernie said. This is supposed to be it's not a secret. If you're first time buying a property, you buy a completed property. Don't necessarily have to go for under construction. You buy completed, look for those medium cost apartments in Bukit Jalil.
Write down.
You will not go wrong. It is as good as sure winner. But as I say this, there are thousands of people also looking for the same place. But you can ask anyone around, because I assume that you are first time investors. So you don't look so expensive. If you don't have the money, go and join partner with your brother who's working or your parents, go for Bukit Jalil area, those medium cost condominium or apartment. But it's still going to be a bit expensive. Maybe about 300,000-400,000. Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure whether you get 300,000-400,000, but to me, 300,000-400,000 is relatively cheap. Try to find. If you can find that, it's fine. The second location is go for Taman Desa. Completed buildings again. Taman Desa, I don't know whether you all know about Taman Desa. You look for Danau Murni or Danau Impian. These are medium cost apartments, very high occupancy rate. Potential is very, very good. If you don't make money from me, you come and see me, I'll buy you chicken rice. At the French restaurant. Wow, how's that? Where's Avalon? Avalon. Papillon. Can't even pronounce the you can buy that too, but that was very expensive. Alright, so I've given you two hotspots. Third one, if you really want, if you don't mind, not for you. When I say investment, it's not for you to stay one, not for you to stay, Kuchai Lama. Kuchai Entrepreneur Park. Okay. There are reasons why I choose that area. You will not go wrong. Okay. But it ain't cheap too. We are looking about maybe 400,000. That's a good place. What I share with you one thing that I always do. I always invest in areas that are notorious. Notorious in the sense that the coffee shops will run practically like 24 hours. All the GROs who are staying there. All the underworld gangsters all be staying there. All the it's like Citibank's tagline, the city that never sleeps. If you look for this type of things that keep on moving well into the wee hours of the morning, you will not lose money as far as property investment is concerned. Have you heard about this English terms called birds of a feather flock together? Yeah? When you see this kind of not so, that's why I thought of it. They love to choose certain areas to stay together. And the activities always run till wee hours in the morning. This type of areas, the demand for rental of the apartments will always be very, very good. Not for you to own, not for you to stay at, but for investment. Do I underestimate this areas? Okay?
Remember Adrian's first property, he made how much? 20,000. Remember, don't be greedy and look for making 100,000, 200,000 in your first property. You just need to make 20,000. With that 20,000, you can buy many, many more after that. Without the 20,000, your first investment to return is going to take you forever. Most successful property investors, first property, very, very important. So the sooner you have an opportunity to buy, which he has just revealed to you, because I've never heard him reveal before, so you must really thank him for revealing to you exactly where to buy, because you buy there not to stay, you make your first return, 20,000. Can you pump into at least 2 more properties as down payment? Yes. That is the game we play. Is that understood? Alright. So I think Adrian has worked very, very hard tonight. Myself also non-stop, but still very happy, but it's okay. A lot of the students here are not our students yet. A lot of it is actually community over here, parents and things like that. Adrian and Skybridge, they run a 2-hour seminar with a lot of thorough details. And after that, if you want to go to the preview, please go to the website and then be a member and join. They'll send you hot newsletters with latest information. For example, 45 years of loan used to be. Now is 35 years. That just happened recently last month. Okay, so these are some of the latest information. We cannot know everything and be updated all the time. So it's good to get into memberships and then get the information. Okay? Remember, you learn already, don't just keep on learning. Must do. Take action. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Adrian. People like this can be trusted. Okay, I tell you why. Because he don't tell you, you don't buy now, no more. Because he don't talk like that. So usually people talk like that, then you better be careful. Okay? People tell you, take your time, always got new deals coming up. These people are very trustable. You understand? And the best is due diligence. Check us out. Go to YouTube website, see people talk bad about us. Sure got one. But also a lot more people talk good about us. Alright? So all the best to you who are not our Portman students. Bottom line, Portman College, Malaysia's first and only business education specialist that provides financial education. Why is it so important? No colleges in Malaysia is bringing experts, industry mentors to come in and share with students. My personal mission is to make sure Malaysia produce the first millionaire before 20 years old. Can you do it properties? You better believe it. That's why I brought him here. They know a lot of things right now. So please do learn more. The more you learn from experts, the better it is. I don't even consider myself an expert. I'm a property investor who have done my homework. So if you think you want to learn how to become rich, ask us how. Okay? If you go through normal education for 5 years, you're not going to get rich. You'll get a job. You get it? So if you want to get a job and to become rich, learn faster. Most of you are 17 and 18 years old. Within 3 years, you can make your first million from properties if you play the game right. You get it? Okay? So with that, thank you very much, Adrian and the team. All the best.